Hey Vivas, welcome to episode 5 of season 2 of Viva Aaliyah. I'm so excited to have another Viva October. If you cannot tell, we're giving a little butterfly vibe. We've got the wings, the translucent wings, the little antenna, and then the body is down the nose. If you can't tell, I can't help you. No, I'm just kidding. Welcome once again to another Viva October. I actually want to see what you're dressing up as this Halloween. So if you already have tinkered with your costumes, go ahead and send them into our email production@AaliyahMartinezQueen.com. That's production@AaliyahMartinezQueen.com. You never know. You might be featured on our Halloween episode. If you want to send them in that night, if we get them in time, you may be featured on the show. We do have a very special Halloween episode for you. Before we start out with our guest and before I start going in on the episode, I do want to talk to you about our opener. As you know, we've had a couple of bartenders, but I want to talk to you about the reason why we've had bartenders on the show. I know I've talked about this before, but our nightlife industry, our hospitality industry, if you don't know it as that, either of those things, the restaurant industry, the hotel industry, that's what hospitality is, has been hit extremely hard during this pandemic. And I hold that industry near and dear to my heart because I've been in that industry for years. I'm not currently there, but it is still a part of me from my past. And I want to do what I can to help the bartenders and servers out. And so what I want to do each week is feature a new bartender from a different city, or from New York City, or from West Virginia where we have family watching, or South Carolina where we have family watching, or from LA. And I want to feature those bartenders so that they can make a cocktail that you can make in your own home. They're going to walk you through those recipes. They're going to show you how to make the cocktail, and they're going to bring a little bit of themselves into your home. And so if you have $1 or 50 cents or $10, $20, anything that you can spare, these individuals are literally donating their time to our show. So I want to introduce our bartender for this week. He started out right here in New York City and is currently bartending, I believe, in California. Correct me if I'm wrong, but he is very handsome and wore a shirt in the opening that I am a big fan of. Sounds Gay I'm In, which is my entire life. So I want y'all to go ahead and give a very Viva welcome to Christian Marriner.
Hey guys, my name is Christian Marriner. I'm here in Santa Monica and I'm about to make you guys a lavender mezcal Negroni. Let's get to it. So we got our vermouth that's infused with lavender, and we're going to start that off with about 1 ounce of lavender. I've been bartending for the last 12 years. I started in New York. Before that, I was doing musical theater for quite some time. Now we're going to add our mezcal. I did the national tour of Shrek the Musical and Lincoln Center South Pacific. So I do have a little flair in my life, if you know what I mean. Now we're moving on to the Campari, also 1 ounce pour. Ooh, yeah, get it. Boom. Next, to make this more lavender, more delicious, more romantic, more soothing, more holy fuck, it's COVID, this is the 10th drink I've had at home. Well, we're going to have one more. I'm going to throw a little lavender spray that I made myself. You can make it home. You can DM me, slide it in, and I'll tell you how to make it. And we just do a little spray, maybe a little bit on the hand. Oh, yeah. And now we're going to give our drink a little stir. I have an ice cube in here, chilling the glass. While the glass is chilling, I like to put my hand on it to know how cold my beverage is. Okay, and then after that, we have a garnish to make it feel like we're at a restaurant. Nice dried lavender, we're wafting, we're smelling, we're tasting, we're enjoying. Thank you guys for having me here. Have a wonderful day.
Not only is he handsome, but he makes a damn good drink. That is Christian Marriner. I said Marriner, but it's Marriner. And if we can just throw up his Venmo one more time, Dominic, it is the Marriner, Marriner, at the Marriner. But he makes a damn good drink and is very handsome and is one of the bartenders that has been put out of work. So if you can give a little bit, anything, that would be wonderful. So thank you, Vivas, for making sure that our industry is taken care of. All of the nightlife industry is my home. That's where I do my shows. That's where I have done benefits for my friends. All about the nightlife industry. So, well, he's cute. He sure is. Christian, thank you for that. We're going to get into another thing that is near and dear to my heart. We're going to talk about this for a little while. I'm going to bring on a dear friend of mine who has been a guest on the show before, Kalil Valentino. He's going to come on at the half-hour mark. But we are going to talk about something that all of us need to do. Every single one of you should be doing this year, and that is voting. Vivas, we need to vote. We need to get out there. We need to use our constitutional rights, utilize our constitutional rights, and we need to make sure that we are taking charge of our own future. I'm going to talk to you about a few things. The first thing that I want to talk to you about is planning to vote. If you are scared to go out in public and you are not ready to face the crowds at the polls, I want you to make sure that you're getting your absentee ballots. If you haven't got your absentee ballots, in some states, unfortunately, it is too late to grab those, but in some states you can still get them. And if you do not want to stand in those lines, you can send them in. They just need to be postmarked by November 3rd. As long as they are postmarked by Election Day, then you are going to be A-okay. I also want to point out that while we're talking about voting today, I want to hear from you. I want to hear what your concerns are, what your questions are, and if I can't find it, I have a team of 3, including our very, very, very amazing producer, Dominic, who can help me search those things on the fly. So go ahead and send in your questions. Dominic is going to be liberal with putting up questions tonight. I, on purpose, made sure that we had a guest halfway through the show so that you can ask things. The first thing, what's on your ballot? Other than actually getting out there and voting, what is on your ballot? Are you voting Democrat or are you voting Democrat? Those are the 2 questions I have for you. Are you voting for Biden-Harris or are you voting for Biden-Harris? What is on that ballot and what are the issues that they are talking about? You can look up those issues at votesaveamerica.com, and by clicking on the candidate that you want to look into, hopefully you are looking into Joe Biden, because at this point, the freedom of our American people rely on the vote for Joe Biden. And when I say that, I don't take this lightly. I have a lot of family who are very, very, very staunch Republicans. And I'm going to talk about me a little bit in this. And they fully believe that our current administration is what's up. That's my Aunt Sheila. Hi, Aunt Sheila. Thank God my Aunt Sheila is there, because she is a liberal like me. And she believes in people's right to make choices for their own bodies. She believes in people being able to marry who they want to. She was at my wedding in Curacao to my husband. She believes that people should have access to healthcare. She believes that people should have equal pay in the workplace. And those are the issues that we're talking about when we're talking about the Democratic Party. Some of you may not believe that fully, but I want you to look at what our current administration has done and how they have handled these issues. Our current president has said that he's been there for LGBTQ people. And the only thing that I've seen is that he's put down LGBTQ people and that he wants to put a current Supreme Court justice, not a current Supreme Court justice, he wants to put a judge in the seat of the open vacant spot in the Supreme Court that wants to actually overturn that and has the vote of the two Supreme Court justices that didn't want same-sex marriage in the first place. And so the only thing I would ask the people out there that don't necessarily have an opinion or don't believe in same-sex marriage is, what is it doing to you? Is it something that is hurting you? Is it something that is going against your will to live? Is it something that is making it so you can't file your taxes? Or making it so you can't go grocery shopping? Or is it just something that you don't want to see? Because if you don't want to see it, I promise you, we're not flaunting it any more than the next couple. My husband and I may walk hand in hand down the street, but we're not overly aggressive with PDA in public, just like any other couple. I want to know I actually do want to know. I want a couple of you to chime in and talk to me about your plan to vote. What is your plan to vote? And if my family is watching, I want to know if you've already voted. I want to know if you sent in your ballot. I'm not asking your political affiliation at all. I'm asking you if you voted, if you've sent in your ballot, or what your plan is on election day. I will say that I hope that you vote blue and that you are really thinking about what is going to push our country forward. I will be the first person to admit I was never the biggest fan of Joe Biden, but I know he's what we need in our country right now. And on that note, while you are sending in what your plan is to vote, I want to play for you a little commercial that my producer Dominic and I have recorded for voting. So Dominic, roll it whenever you're ready. Hey Divas, time to make a difference is coming up. We must stand together and bring some light back into our country. This isn't a time where we can be complacent and allow our friends and family to do all the voting. President Trump must be stopped. If you need resources to find your voting location or for anything else voting related, you can go to websites like rockthevote.org or dragoutthevote2020.org. I'll see you at the voting booths on November 3rd. Actually won't see you at the voting booths on November 3rd because I've already sent in my ballot. That is my voting plan. My husband and I are taking a vacation, so we made sure that we exercise our constitutional right, and we voted already. We sent in our ballots. We've checked our status, and the way that you can actually check the status of your ballots is by going to vote.org. If you go onto the website, you can actually see what part of the process your ballot is in. So we looked it up. Actually, my husband looked it up. I did not. I am very grateful that he looked it up. And he saw that both of our ballots had been accepted. And that means that they are going to be counted. That means that they are in process. And so you can go to vote.org and see where your ballot is in the process. If you've already sent it in, please, Kim Walker-Bowman, we are voting in person. I love to see that. I love to know that my family is voting in person and that all of you are using your constitutional rights. Stephanie Manelli, I haven't voted yet, but plan to vote on election day. Stephanie, I know that some of the issues probably on your mind are what's going to happen to education. My sister-in-law, she's my sister-in-law. I love that. She is a teacher, and I know, having worked in education, that teachers are in need of school supplies. Teachers are in need of a pay increase. Teachers deserve more money. Anybody out there watching that can help that? Oh, wait, our administration can help that. Teachers deserve more money. They deserve a lot more for what they do. And the way we're going to get there is by voting for a person who supports teachers and supports the education system and doesn't have people like Betsy DeVos running our education system, who has never worked in education a day in her life. So, Stephanie, I can't wait to see you vote. Preach, 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 preach. Yes, Em O'Connor, one of our former bartenders, early voting with a pancake spread after. That's what we missed, honey. We didn't get the pancake spread. My bad. Tomorrow we'll do the pancake spread, Em, just for you. Matthew Anderson-Leo, my office is giving us a half day any day this week to vote. Wow. I'll be going Tuesday. So yeah, that actually brings me to another topic. There is early voting in every state. You have to check your state's website. You can go to, again, vote.org and check when your state has early voting. But there are early voting times, and that functions the same way that actual voting happens. I'm sure many of you have seen in Florida, in Texas, in a lot of southern states, actually, people are lining up and waited 11 hours already to vote. I couldn't be more proud of our country in situations like that where people are actually utilizing their constitutional right. This is hard for me to say. I don't care who you're voting for. I do. But I do think that it's more important that you are utilizing your constitutional right and you're making sure that you're making a plan to go vote. More plans. I want to hear about it. I want to know what you're doing. Talk to me, talk to me, talk to me. Outside of that, you can volunteer. A lot of people are volunteering. So my day job, if you don't know, I work in human resources for a PR firm, and we are giving off a good amount of time in the morning for our staff to vote. On election day, they can not only utilize that time, but they can utilize other times if they need to. But we are giving off the entire day, basically as a comp day for people who are volunteering at the polls. Fortunately, very fortunately, there's an overwhelming London Davenport Rain. Hi, honey. I'm so excited to see you compete at Miss Gay United States. Hashtag we vote. We do. We really do. There's fortunately, like I was saying, there's an overwhelming amount of people this year that have volunteered to work at the polls. And not everybody is going to get a place to volunteer. And that's okay. What you can do is think about how you can volunteer in other ways. Maybe you go grab a pack of water and you hand them out to those people that are standing in line waiting to cast their vote, to work on getting that next president into the office. Maybe you can start knocking on doors and start talking to people and making sure that they are going to cast their vote and they're going to make sure that their choice for the presidency is going to be put into office. So there's a lot of things you can do outside of just working at a polling place. You could bake snacks. You could clean up the streets afterwards just to make sure that anybody that's dropped something, you could high five people on their way out, give them some sort of support. This is one of the most stressful elections we've ever had. So everybody's going to need a little bit of something to make sure that they feel good after the election. Another thing you can do is get a job in politics yourself. Start looking into issues that you're seriously passionate about. Start talking to your senators, your representatives, your congressperson, whatever you want to call them. You can start talking to your governor. You can actually talk to these people by calling their offices, by writing them letters, by figuring out what your passions are, and by talking to them one-on-one and taking action beyond that. You can be the next congressperson. None of us have to have a political science background. Volunteer, ride to the polls. Yes, that's actually a very good one. You know, I'm in New York City, London, and so I don't think about that, but outside of New York City, you could be a volunteer for people that have a hard time getting to the polls. You could be their ride. You can put a Facebook post out there. You can put a post in your community groups and talk about how you are willing to be the carpool for those people to the voting polls. Some people need that ride. There's a lot of elderly people or people who don't have cars in today's age because of what's going on in the world. This pandemic has taken a lot from a lot of us, and so you don't know if somebody's car was taken away or if they just don't have a way to get to the polls. So make sure that you are Rustin! I'm voting at Lincoln Center on Monday. Very glam. I didn't even know Lincoln Center was a place you could vote. But I'm not surprised. Lincoln Center is very educational and very, very, very into what's going on in politics. But to get back to what I was saying, you can definitely get a job in politics. You can take whatever issue you feel is most important, turn it into a platform. If teachers' pay is your platform, there are hundreds of thousands of people across this nation that believe teachers should be paid more. If you think that our student loan circumstances in this country are a whole bunch of malarkey, and that we shouldn't have to pay for student loans, especially in the excess amount we do, then take that and make it into your platform. If you believe that access to education for LGBTQ people or BIPOC people, which is Black, Indigenous, people of color, that's what BIPOC stands for. If you believe that there's not access for those people in our country, that can be your platform. If you believe that two people of the same sex should have the same rights to marry as a opposite sex couple, then that's your platform. You can take any of these things and you can walk into a hall and speak about it, and you've already started politics there. You've already started rallying. You've already started making a difference by speaking your mind. And so why not take that to the next level and become a congressperson or become a person on the board of your city, a council person for your city. Do what you can to make a difference in your community. Not all of us are cut out for politics. I don't know if I am, but I know that my job is to sit here and talk to all of you about what we can do to make a difference. We are going to talk about one more thing, and then I'm going to bring on somebody who's actually on the opposite side of the country, a very dear friend of mine. I want to talk about donating. Something that I don't think a lot of people think about is the fact that these political campaigns cost a ton of money. And so if you're supporting a candidate, let's say Kamala Harris, you're supporting her. Her fundraising is based on the population. She's not supposed to get corporate sponsors. And so all of her donations should come from people like us. That's not to say that people aren't rigging the rules or going around the rules and getting those corporate sponsors, Donald Trump. But they're really relying on us. So if you can donate $1 to the Biden-Harris campaign, or if you can donate $5 to the Biden-Harris campaign, or to your local politician, then you can do that through their personal websites. You can also go through vote.org or Rock the Vote or any of those other websites. I want to talk about a website, and it's been in my mind, but I want to bring Kalil on first, because Kalil actually was the one who introduced me to When We All Vote. So, without further ado, somebody who is on the opposite side of the country, a very dear friend of mine, somebody who is so passionate and actually went to the rally in DC recently. I was so upset that I could not join him. He has rallied. He has been out in the fields. He has raised money. He has done everything he could and is continuing to do everything that he can to make sure that this current administration is not our future administration. I want you to give a big Viva welcome to Kalil Valentino.
Hi.
Hi, babe. Oh my gosh, yes. Wear your mask.
Do you see what my mask says?
It
says vote.
Oh, vote. But vote like your life depends on it, because it does.
It does.
That's so true. That's so true.
Yeah. How are you?
Honey, we are living in a world where we are uncertain, and that is something that scares me. But I am good, because I know that I have people like you in my life, and I have my husband and my friends, and you have your husband and our friends that we can rely on, and I have a good feeling that we are going to persevere through this, because we are not letting up. And the biggest thing, and what actually gave me more confidence in this topic, which is our future generation, was my little brother. He just turned 18 years old, and he told my mother, who is not a Republican. My mother is not a Republican. She is very much on our side of things. I don't know if, I honestly don't know if I'd call our new movement Democrats anymore. I feel like we are so much more than Democrats.
We are, and I think when we stop labeling it, it's getting to that point, because even when Biden wins, and I do emphasize win, we have to hold his feet to the fire too.
Yes.
So I do think we need to stop. And the thing about Joe Biden, he says, I'm running to be a proud Democrat, but I'm going to be a president for everybody. And I think that message is exactly what you're saying. We need that to be our mantra. It's like, we can be in our parties, but at some point it has to be about us being Americans first.
Absolutely. 100%. My 18-year-old brother literally just turned 18, and he said, if Biden doesn't win, I will move to Canada. Mind you,
that's everybody's feeling right now.
Mind you, he is a cisgendered, mostly white, straight male, and he is saying that. And then there are people like you and myself, who are queer people, who are people of color, who are on a spectrum of some sort, but we are much more vulnerable than a cisgendered white straight male, and he is saying that. So if my 18-year-old brother gave me more hope than I could imagine when he turned 18 and was ready to register, then I am here to fight the fight.
This new generation is truly a melting pot. Like, think about those riots and all the protests. I shouldn't say riots, because they're going to get that mixed up, but all the protests and when people are on the streets, right? It was a melting pot. This generation does not give a fuck. Excuse me. Sorry, my
No,
language.
please.
But they don't care because this generation don't know nothing different than, oh, my brother is black, my brother is, Hispanic, my girlfriend is white. They don't know. They grew up in a time where that's the only thing that they know, that it's a big melting pot. And so you saw that even with the protests. So it's good to hear that even in your own family you're experiencing that.
Yeah. How was DC? I have not caught up with you since then. And I was unfortunately overwhelmed with work, but how was it? And what was the feeling of being there?
DC was amazing. I posted a lot of pictures and a lot of videos. I had this shirt that I was going to bring in here that John Lewis had a saying called "Good Trouble," and it was about doing what we need to do now. It was about getting on the streets, going to the polls, making a change, and it's the opposite of rioting. It's good trouble, and that's what you felt. You felt that through everybody. I was terrified to go originally because COVID and being close together with people, but it was the way they did it. It was so responsible. I mean, they had sanitizing stations everywhere. Everybody wore a mask. If you didn't have a mask, they had people walking around saying, "Hey, we're going to kindly ask you to exit stage left." I mean, I really felt safe enough that I could take in whatever message they were giving, and they kept pumping out to everybody. The thousands upon hundreds of thousands of people go out there and vote. Every speaker, their byline, their go-to line was vote. And then, because right now what we need is a listening ear, right? So at least with Joe Biden, we'll he's not going to be everything that everybody wants, but at least he's moldable. We know that what we're saying, it will matter, and he'll get people in the room, and we have to hold his feet to the fire. But right now what's in front of us is getting him out. And that was the main overarching theme. It was about equality. Of course, Black Lives Matter. I mean, you felt just the energy of just humanity there. But the overarching theme was we got to get out there and make a difference. I got my Joe Biden for president shirt here.
Yes.
And so we got to get out there and make a difference. And that's what it was about. So I was really happy that I went.
There's two questions. They're kind of the same question, but for different people. Obviously, when I say this, you'll know what I mean. Okay. But I feel like I can say this and it would make an impact. But if I ask somebody this question and they hear it, then they're not like, "Oh, Aaliyah on her own show is just saying these things."
Yeah.
So my first question is, what does it mean for all of us if Joe Biden wins?
One, we can relax. If Joe Biden wins, we can all exhale, we can all relax, and we can at least say to ourselves, our country is going to remain a democracy. It's going to validate for us that we're not all crazy, and that it's going to allow us to all have a seat at the table. We don't have a seat at the table. If you're not doing well right now, if you don't have millions upon millions of dollars and you don't fall into the billion-dollar class, or you're not one of Trump's friends or a part of that family, that's what it feels like. It feels like them versus us, and they made it that way. So I feel like, especially for people of color, we're going to feel relieved.
Yeah.
We're going to feel relief because the only thing that was holding Trump back from doing the stuff that he did was barbaric, but the only thing that was really holding him back, the fence that was holding him back, was reelection. And if he does not have to worry about reelection, God only knows what this man is capable of doing. So I think by us winning, and when we win, because we will, because people are out in lines. Just in New York today, early in voting started, they showed on I think it was the Bronx and Brooklyn, all the lines. People are just energized, and we have to do the work. I mean, people see what's happening in the polls, but this is what happened last time. Don't worry about those damn polls. We don't care about the polls, okay? Because they got us last time. So it's not enough for you to go and vote either. You go vote, and then you get one other person to do it. And that's what it means. It means that we can take first we're going to have to clean up a whole bunch of shit, but at least we'll be able to take a breath and be able to sit back and have and be decent to each other. We can't. I lost so many friends and family members that I don't even talk to anymore because there's such a stark divide. And so I think that is going to be one of the main things we're going to do first.
Yeah, you actually mentioned something that I'm very passionate about, which is obviously voting is my biggest passion right now. Like, let's get this vote. Let's make sure we're in there. Let's make sure we get the 1 to 2 people with us. Let's make sure be encouraged by these polls, but don't let them sway you.
Exactly.
But the thing that you said that I am like, yes, this is actually what makes me happy about this administration is we can hold their feet to the fire. And what does that mean for people like us, people of color? What does that mean for LGBTQ people? What does that mean for America in general?
That means taking it to the streets. You know, I was so proud that people rose up in the summer. I mean, all over the world. It wasn't even just here in the United States. People rose up when it came to Black Lives Matter and issues with people of color. And if Joe Biden and the new administration is not, doing what they need to do, we need to take it to the streets. We need to campaign against them. You know, we need to be able to, and we need to stay vocal. But I honestly don't think we're going to have to do that because I really feel like in Joe Biden with Kamala Harris, I really feel, and because we lost last time, I really feel like there's an awakening that something has to change. Something has to happen. And Joe Biden has already said he's going to be bringing these people and having all these roundtables and then not just having a conversation at the table, but actually, making that into action. I want to tell everybody that's watching, if you are thinking about voting third party, please don't, because that's a vote for Donald Trump. And my Black men especially, do not listen to these rappers because they have had 4 years to bring a contract for Black America or people of color. Don't be used. Don't listen to that. That's all noise and all distractions. A vote that's for anybody else other than Biden is a vote for Trump. Remember that. That's what happened last time with Jill Stein and the critical areas and the states that it mattered and the areas that it mattered. We got to make sure we stay focused and we got to get him out, and then we can continue to hold the people to the feet to the fire by speaking out, using our votes, staying vocal, and keep putting pressure on the politicians.
Yeah. I hate to ask this part, but
ask.
What if Trump wins? What does that America look like for us?
I don't know. To be honest with you, I haven't thought about that because I have been so busy trying to make sure that we get this man in there. We can only glean and estimate based on what he's already done.
Yeah.
And what he's already done is crazy. We just discovered this week that over 530 some parents will not hasn't been reunited with their kids. These are immigrants. And then when you ask about how are you going to reunite these families, they're well taken care of in facilities when we know they're not. When we know that kids have died. When we know, I mean, this is it's government kidnapping.
Yeah.
It's government ordained kidnapping. And if he's going to do that, knowing that he still has to be reelected, can you imagine what he'll do when he doesn't have to worry about that prospect at all? So to prevent that, I'm imploring everybody who's watching, if you don't think your voice and your vote matters, sit out, and we'll reap the consequences. But I don't really think that's going to happen because there is an awakening that's happening. I like to focus on positive stuff because I think,
definitely.
I mean, right now it's over 50 million people that have voted. And I don't want people to see that and be like, okay, the Democrats are, because we don't know who those votes are really. I have a good idea. We all have a good idea, but we can't take our foot off the gas. We got to keep going. So everybody that's watching, make sure you keep it going. We only got 10 days. Do not get tired. The bullshit is about to keep going. It's about to start. It's going to get heavier. We're already sick and tired of ads, but keep it up. You got 10 days. We can do it. Our ancestors have died, and John Lewis got his head cracked up on bridges for voting. I mean, we can do this. This is nothing compared to what people have to do for voting, and be mindful of voting suppression efforts. If you have a ballot at this point, 10 days ahead, I would not drop it in a U.S. postal mailbox. I would take that ballot to an actual voting site or take it to an official voting ballot location, drop box. So, because there's so many shenanigans that are going on. I mean, here in California, the Republicans are creating their own drop boxes. They created their own drop box and then refuse to take it away. So you have to be mindful of this thing. We got to be smart. We got to stay ahead of them. And we got to take pride in our vote. Some people are waiting 5 and 6. I know my friend in Atlanta, he waited 8 hours in line. And you know what? He didn't complain. He had his little snacks. He had his little fold-up chair, and he waited. And he called me crying after, because he's like, I did it. They tried to take my voice away, and I did it. So don't let people take your voice away. Do what you need to do, and let's get to work. It's going to take all of us. Every little vote counts.
Yeah. Words of encouragement, because right now we are challenged in a lot of ways. You and I are lucky to live in California and New York, but there are a lot of people across this nation who have one voting location now because of the Republican Party. And that's unfortunate. But the good thing that's come out of that is we've seen the unity. We've seen the people that are waiting 8, 10, 11. We've seen 11 hours. How do you wait 11 hours in line to vote?
Right.
And it gives me so much hope. It gives me so much promise for our future. I'm so grateful for those people, and I'm so grateful for friends like you who are so passionate about this and feel the same way I do. And like the goosebumps that are just the chills that are going down my spine, the goosebumps that are on my arm, talking about this is just, it's something else. I mean, we're not just in a new political time. We're in a time where our country needs a revamp. We're in a time when we're in a pandemic. We're in a time where politics are so different than they ever have been.
That's right.
And
this is people in the past. Every election, everybody says, "Oh, no, this election is more important than it." No, this election here is going to shape the vote for this election is going to shape for the next generation. The next generation. So this is the most important election of our lifetime. This is going to set the direction and the tone. If we want to bring decency back, if we want to bring civility back, or do we want more of what we have right now? We're divided. We're divided to the point where, they're foiling plots to kill governors. People just because Trump says that he wants to liberate a country a state, a city, because she's looking out for them for COVID, trying to protect them. He tweets, liberate them, and now his supporters are making plots. Do we want more of that? Do we want to be able to talk to each other about politics again and be like, okay, we agree, but we still gonna have dinner together. We disagree, we still gonna have dinner and a drink together. Okay, you're a Republican, I'm a Democrat. We still good friends. We still best friends. Are we going to get to that point again? Because right now it's a us against them mentality, and it's getting dangerous. We got to vote for civility, and I want to leave on a positive note with this. I want to say a couple of things that I want. This mask that I showed you guys is vote like your life depends on it. I'll put it up again so you can see it. So it's vote like your life depends on it, because it does. It's true. It's true. Right now, Trump is campaigning, packing people together like COVID doesn't even exist. If that is not an example enough of how it would be moving forward if he's to stay in office, I don't know what is. And I want to say this. We all spent the last 4 years. We know how this man is, but we spent the last 4 years complaining about the way our country is. Well, you forfeit that right to complain if you don't use your right to vote. So I have hope that we all are doing what we need to do, but I'm going to stay on top of everybody, and you do too. You stay on top of everybody yourself, and it's okay to take a moment for yourself to walk outside, sit in the backyard, take a walk. Maybe you don't have no electronics or just listen to music. and then you center yourself, and then you bring it back. But we need everybody to stay in this fight.
Yeah. Honey, I'm so glad that I got to talk to you today. I'm so glad that we had this time to just...
You're welcome. You know, I always enjoy talking to you, especially about something I'm so passionate about. We both are passionate about music. Now, you know, I'm passionate about politics, but this is beyond politics. This is about our lives now. And you are so welcome. I will be back anytime you want.
I mean, you know, I'll have you back anytime. It's honestly, I feel like you feel the same way. It's beyond our lives. It's everybody's.
That's right.
The hour is the key word that you said for
That's
me.
Right. That's right.
It's not our as in mine and your. It's our as in this entire country. Not just the entire country, but the world. The world is actually looking at this election and saying, are the Americans actually doing this again, or are they going with the rest of the world? And
I have so many friends around the world, and we have become a laughing stock, and they can't believe it's a big reality show to them. They don't even have to watch reality TV. They just turn on CNN and watch our American system at work right now. But we're going to get through it. We're going to get through it. And I implore everybody, early voting in most states have already begun. Do it. I am actually going to early vote on tomorrow. So make sure that you guys get out there and do it. I'm excited about it. I think our chances are really, really good, but I'm not going to let that excitement get me overconfident. I'm going to stay confident, and I'm going to stay working, and y'all do too.
Stay working. I will say one last thing. If you have not sent in your ballot yet, utilize your right to do an early vote.
That's right.
We sent in ours a few weeks ago, and we just got confirmation that... And if we didn't get confirmation, we would have been at those voting booths before we went on our vacation, because we want to make sure that our voices are heard.
But, and at this point, if you have your ballot, take it to an official polling location or an official drop box. And if you don't know what that is, call your local elections board, and they'll tell you to go to their website, and you will see pictures, because you have to be careful. There's so many shenanigans going on.
Yeah. Babe, I am so happy to have you. Thank you. I love you so much.
I love you too.
I know that I asked Kalil very last minute, and of course, he is one of my dearest friends, and jumped at the opportunity because he is one of the most wonderful people I've ever come across. So thank you.
You're welcome.
If anybody has any comments, go ahead and send them in. But I'm going to say thank you. I love you, and I will let you go back to it.
Bye, everybody.
Back to California life. Mwah. If you have any questions, go ahead and send them in. Otherwise, we are going to leave you with the fact that you need to utilize your constitutional right. You need to make sure that you are doing your part in this country's future. You need to think about not only yourself, but the people around you. And you need to think about what's going to be the best scenario for this country. Not just you, but what's going to be the best scenario for this country. I've seen a lot of memes and GIFs or GIFs, or however you're saying them, going around. And one actually stuck with me. You know, Biden's tax policy is going to be taxing people who earn over $450,000 or more at a higher rate. And people who make much less than that, myself included, saying, I'm not one of these people saying this, but I make much less than that, saying, what the hell is he doing with these taxes? Why is he raising taxes? It doesn't affect you, babe. If you make over $400,000 or $450,000 a year, then you have the money to spend on those taxes. I just want to leave you with the fact that we will get through this. We will get through it together. If you want to message me, you can message me through email, or you can message me on any of my social media sites. I'm happy to give you resources. I'm happy to give you words of encouragement. I'm happy to talk to you about the opposite side of the spectrum. If you are somebody who believes in our current administration and you want to know why I don't believe in that, I'm happy to talk to you about it. And I will be civil about that conversation, because I believe this America can be a place that we can all live in. Unfortunately, my husband and I have had this conversation already. If this vote goes through and the current administration continues on, it's not going to be a pleasant place for people like myself and my husband to live. We are a same-sex couple. I'm a person of color. And so we've already talked about what that looks like. We've talked about if it looks like we should join his sister who lives in Ireland. Hi, Katie Beth, if you're watching. We've talked about if we should join friends that live in Amsterdam, or if we should move to Canada. And those are real conversations people like my husband and I are having, and people like Kalil and I are having as people of color. And I want you to think about that when you're casting your vote. I want you to think, is this good for me and the people I care about? And I will leave you with, I think you are all wonderful people. I cannot imagine a country where I don't see all of you in it and myself in it. You can check out websites like whenweallvote.org. You can check out vote.org. You can check out, I'm just going to read off my cards. Dragoutthevote2020.org if you want to see some pizzazz in your voting website. Rockthevote.org. VoteSaveAmerica.com. There are so many websites that we can figure out what the best scenario is and the best way to vote is. If you have any questions, please message me. You can email me at aaliyah@aaliyahmartinezqueen.com. You can email production@aaliyahmartinezqueen.com. Either of those will come to me at some point. Dominic is very good at sending me things. So aaliyah@aaliyahmartinezqueen.com is my direct email. I'm happy to have these conversations with you. I think you are all wonderful. I think this country is worth fighting for, and I think that we are all family together. And I cannot wait to see the outcome of this election, because I feel like our current generation, our future generation, is doing the things that need to be done. Next week, we are going to interview a couple random folk, because we are having our Halloween bash. We are going to be dressing up in our Halloween finest. Dominic and I are going to be hosting parties, and we are going to have a fun time. I hope to see you all there. I hope to have some fun with you. I want to see your costumes. I want to see what you're dressing up as for Halloween. So go ahead and email production@aaliyahmartinezqueen.com. That is production@aaliyahmartinezqueen.com. I know Dominic's probably like, why do you keep saying things so quickly and asking me to put them up? But production@aaliyahmartinezqueen.com with your Halloween get-ups. I want to see them. I want to see what you're going as. Send them in on a Halloween. They could end up on screen. You never know. But I love you, and I cannot wait to talk to you for Halloween. And I cannot wait to actually paint a beauty face on camera again. You are wonderful, you are beautiful, and you deserve to have a country that we can all live in. Viva Aaliyah.
Viva Aaliyah.